Hi everyone, this is Chris Early from Lafayette High School, and today I'd like to show you some really effective ACT prep that also involves some very, very cool technology. First thing you're going to see is a little bit with my Ning site. Now, anyone who knows me knows I go on and on about my Ning sites, and most teachers in the district have Ning sites now, so I probably don't have to explain a lot to you about it. But it is it's a cool site. In terms of ACT prep, it actually allows me to embed some stuff directly in the site, some cool ways of showing the kids how they did, and you'll see that in a minute. One of the other forms of technology I'm going to use also deals with the site, but it's another website called polleverywhere.com. And polleverywhere.com is a free site. You can use, you can create embeddable quizzes, surveys, and polls, and then put them in your own class websites. In this case, I took a couple of the ACT questions that I wanted to do, and I made a poll. And kids were allowed to look at the ACT questions, answer the questions, and then text their answers into a number that I gave them, and it creates a really cool graphic. And it also allows for the kids to submit their answers anonymously. When you're discussing answers in class, nobody wants to be the kid who's wrong. So if I say, okay, everybody who picks C for this, raise your hand, well, some kids do and some kids don't. If you allow them to text in their answers, which is cool because they love to text, it also gives them that kind of anonymous factor where they don't have to single themselves out. Their answer just appears as a graphic on the screen, and I can look and see what percentage of kids answered B or C, and that's really neat. The third piece of technology that I'm going to show you is something that I'm really excited about, but it's really simple, really cheap, and really effective. And that is basically my homemade smartboard that I'm going to show you right now. Alright guys, this is the screen at the front of my room. It's not actually a smartboard, it's just a regular screen. I don't even know if they make smartboards this big, and if they do, they're probably pretty expensive. But we have a little solution for that. Using a Wii remote, that's right, a Nintendo controller, which has a small infrared camera inside of it, and a pin that emits infrared light, and some easily downloadable and free software that you can find online, you can basically turn any surface into a smartboard, which allows me to do some really cool stuff. I like teaching from my website sometimes for about the first 10-15 minutes of class when we do ACT prep. It's a great launching point for stuff. So I like to be up here, and I wanted to figure out a way to make it a little more interactive, and that's exactly what we've done here. Using, again, this infrared pin and some simple technology, I've essentially created a smartboard that allows me to click on links, allows me to showcase stuff to my students, and it's also just kind of fun, and it's really cool. It also allows me to do super cool things like this. So check out how I use my smartboard to deliver some very effective ACT prep and to hopefully raise some ACT scores. All right, let's see what the survey says over here. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, maybe we can definitely rule out that it's D, or at least this class seems to think that it's not D. A good chunk of you, 30% said A. Over half of you said B, and at least a few of you said C. That means, I mean, in terms of the ACT, a lot of us were wrong. We're kind of all over the place on this one. So most of us say B, though. We know the vast majority doesn't always have the right answer, so let's take a look here. 49. Again, you kind of had to look at 48 because they're tied in. But if you remember last time we did ACT prep, we decided that 48 was H. The first commercially successful low-budget chiller was Halloween, and in its wake, psycho-slasher films have the movie market glutted. First off, what do you think the word glutted means? Filled? Good. The question is, does it really matter? Somebody brought up yesterday that they thought that they could pretty much, well, first off, as good readers, we hope that just using context clues, we can figure out what glutted means. I think filled is good. Somebody said flooded yesterday. I like that. But I think it was Jeremy Weir that brought up yesterday that it doesn't really matter. You can basically answer this question without necessarily knowing exactly what this word means. So, that said, some of you thought that it was A. I'm going to read that sentence one more time. The first commercially successful low-budget chiller was Halloween. And in its wake, psycho-slasher films have the movie market glutted.
That's a change of tense. It's a change of tense.
So how would you suggest that we fix it? What option did you choose?
B.
Why?
After have, because then it keeps the tense the same instead of switching from past to present. it keeps it in the trash.
Okay, Carrera says B. Let's take a quick look at it. The first commercially successful low-budget chiller was Halloween, and in its wake, psycho slasher films have glutted the movie market. A lot of you agree with her. About 50% of the class said that it was B. Okay, we'll keep that one in mind. But some of you said that it was C. Let's go ahead and do it. That's what a good test taker does. Let's fill in the answer. Let's plug it into the sentence. And in this case, C says you plug it in after the word movie. So, in its wake, psycho slasher films have the movie glutted market. What do you think about that? If we're actually taking this test, what do you think?
I doesn't know. It doesn't make sense.
You think we could probably safely eliminate that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take out C. Definitely take out C. What about D? After wake. I don't think anybody in this class voted for D, but that doesn't mean it couldn't be D. Let's do a quick double check. After the word wake. In its wake, glutted psycho slasher films have the movie market. Yeah, do you think...
It says the films are glutted.
You think we should definitely take out D? I think we should take out D. So if we're going to do 50-50, we've got A and B. A lot of you voted for A. Most of you voted for B. What do you think now? Is it safe to say that the answer is B? Yes. I think it is. The answer for 49 is B. In this case, the majority was right. So good job. Let's go. Let's take a look at the results here. Well, this time we had answers for every single option. H dominated. Almost 70% of us said that it was H, but again, the majority is not always right. We have a good chunk for F, almost 20% of the class. We have a few for G, a few for J. I'm surprised that we're all over the place here. That means, sadly, if this were the real ACT, it means a lot of us got this question wrong. So, let's take a look at it. Number 50. Okay. Number 50. 50 looks a little bit wordy to me. What do you guys think?
Yes.
The fact of the matter being that the popularity of the series of Friday the 13th movies and their hundreds of silly imitators, I don't even know if I need to read much more beyond that. Some of you did say that it was F. Some of you voted for no change. Again, I'm just going to, let's look at this. The fact of the matter being that the popularity of the series, do you guys think that that's a little bit too wordy?
Yeah.
Do you think that we could pretty much safely eliminate F as an option?
Oh, yeah.
I think that we probably should. So let's eliminate F. It's gone. What about G? Just at a quick glance. Look at G. Don't even read it. At a quick glance. What do you think? The problem is it's still pretty wordy, but again, a good test taker, let's double check it. The fact of the matter being, now they did cut the popularity stuff. The fact of the matter being of Friday the 13th, does that even make sense? The fact of the matter being of Friday the 13th movies, it cannot be G, and yet, guys, the startling fact is that some of us voted for it. I am willing to bet. How many of you who maybe voted G, I know we were doing this in an anonymous fashion, so maybe I won't have you raise your hand. But I bet some of you that voted G immediately changed your mind the minute I read that one out loud. You think? I bet some of you did. I cannot come in during the ACT and read over your shoulder. They frown on it. They will throw me out. You've got to get to the point where you're saying these, you've got to hear that inner voice in your head. You can't really read out loud during the test. But that one, honestly, I'm not trying to pick on anyone, but we should not have chosen G. F and G, off the charts. Those are gone. H, a lot of you said H because it's short, but be careful. We know that brevity is 40% of the test, Drunken White Rule 17. That's all good and well. That doesn't mean it's automatically right. So plug it in. The popularity of Friday the 13th movies and their hundreds of silly imitators indicates that there is a huge market. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
But, real quick, we're not going to mark it off, but in all fairness, let's look at J. Factually speaking, in terms of popularity of Friday the 13th movies, it's another one that's wordy, and it really doesn't even make sense in the context of the sentence. So therefore, the only possible answer is H.